Okay, so the three biggest mistakes in tech governance. I'm going to start first with saying it's not principles-based. So you don't have any rules. It is basically just people sitting around and having a chat fest all the time, rather than having a simple set of, we call them principles of Fragile to Agile, for other people call them guardrails. If you like the town planning analogy, call them building codes. But what are you governing against? It's almost like a court operating without any law. So to have any principles is the first one I go through. The second is, you might have them, but they're what I'd call waffle or ambitious. We call them more like outcome statements. They're not testable. So things like, we might see a principle that says, we'll minimize the total cost of ownership of IT. Well, that's fabulous. Fabulous organization is trying to maximize it. It doesn't say anything. That's a valid outcome, of course, but a principle needs to be something that you can actually test again. No business logic in the channel. All of our passwords will be encrypted to a certain extent. These are valid principles. And the third one is going to too low a level of detail. And again, the easy way to explain this is the town planning analogy. At enterprise architecture level, what we're about is making sure that the solution, or we go to the town planning analogy, the building, fits into the overall ambition of the town. So you might have a building code that says nothing over 3 stories, for example, or must leave 2 meters gap between it and the neighboring property. They're valid principles around the overall outcome of the entire city or the town, or an enterprise architecture of the entire organization. Something like we must use .NET for all our code development. That is a lower level. That's inside the solution. To extend the town planning analogy, they're things that are enforced by the building commission. That the house is built with the right concrete, or that it does adhere to proper engineering standards. They're very valid things you need to govern, but they're not enterprise architecture.